Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Breck Room. Now, this video is going to be unscripted and just kind of raw because there is a lot to say about the Sonic Racing Crossworlds pricing. And I don't want to come at it from the angle of just the game is so expensive, I'm not buying it. There's a lot of different angles to bring into this conversation. And in this video, I want to try to tackle those angles as best as possible. So sit down, get comfortable, and let's get started. All right, so with the game being $70, that is a very steep asking price. A lot of the time when I think about $70 games, because $70 games has become the industry standard for the past like 4 years now, there are plenty of games out there that do cost $70, but those games are reserved for bigger companies like Ubisoft, Activision, companies like that. So with those companies charging $70 for those games, you think that they would think it's a little bit too steep for the player base, but I gotta be honest with you, these companies don't care, Sega included. These companies ain't your friends, bro. As much as I praise Sega and give them props for doing really good with Sonic over the past few years, they still are a business. These aren't friends. This is a gaming company, and this is a AAA company that wants to make money. That's the goal of a business, is to make money. So if they're going to charge $70 for a Sonic game, I'm not surprised, because look at Nintendo. Nintendo's charging $80 for Mario Kart World. And I don't want to talk about Nintendo in this video with that game because I don't want to bring in that type of like controversy or that narrative here, because this is mainly a Sonic channel. So we're going to focus on Sonic. But if we're going to bring up pricing, you got to look at the other side of the coin and look at Nintendo charging $80 for Mario Kart World. Because yeah, $80 is ridiculous. I don't even think anyone's even going to accept that for a long while, because that's like, you're closing in on $100 for the base game. And we obviously know, since Nintendo moved the price mark for this game, look at other gaming companies that are going to do the same thing. This has just became a very rough time within the gaming industry in general. This isn't just a Sonic exclusive issue. This has been a thing for years. It's just now reaching a tipping point because now it's entering franchises that are notoriously known for being the more affordable one. Sonic Racing Crossworlds being $70 and the digital deluxe edition being $90 and the physical collector's edition being $250 is insane. That is half the price of a Nintendo Switch 2 for Sonic Racing Crossworlds and a bunch of other merchandise that's being distributed by Limited Run Games, the same company that still hasn't sent a majority of the Sonic X Shadow Generation physical collector's items. People are still waiting for that. So Sega's already partnering with a company that doesn't even do good with distributing their merchandise. So this is just a very bad time for this game from the public perception, because the game looks great. Outside of the price and outside of the Limited Run Games collab, the game looks fantastic. What they shown at Summer's Game Fest was amazing, and I can't wait to buy the game, and I'm so excited to play it. But when we talk about the pricing, I don't want to necessarily just talk about how much you're able to afford $70. I want to talk about the emotional weight behind dropping $70. Within the gaming industry, there's a lot of different types of games. You got AAA games, AA games, and indie games. And each of these games ranges in price point. I think we all know this if you play video games, but I know a lot of Sonic fans are mainly within the Sonic ecosystem. So as a person who's been outside of the Sonic ecosystem for over 10 years now, I'm kind of used to seeing games ranging in price depending on who is making it and what type of game it is. A lot of recent games that came out in 2025, like for example, Split Fiction or Expedition 33. These are two different games. One's a co-op action adventure and one's a 60-hour deep RPG. Both of these games are $50. The circumstances around these companies are different, but both of these games are $50. They are mainly single player experiences or co-op experiences, but they're $50 and they have been received really well. So then you look at Sonic Racing Crossworlds and that game being $70, it's like, okay, so now we have to really have deeper conversations here. Because it's not just that if a game is so expensive, if I can afford it. No, now we have to bring into the fact that now we're touching within the Sonic community. If Sonic wants to price himself like a premium game, he's going to get compared to premium games no matter the genre. This isn't saying Sonic should be like those other games. It's about recognizing that once you ask people to pay that same price or more, the conversation shifts. It becomes, what am I getting for my money? And does this game feel like $70 compared to everything else I could buy this year? You're now bringing that conversation into the Sonic community. The Sonic community is a bunch of very passionate fans who love the games, love these characters, and love the universe. When you put a $70 price tag on these games, oh yeah, we're gonna have some interesting conversations, because there are people who will say, oh yeah, I don't mind paying $70 because I love Sonic. I will buy the game. I don't care how much it costs, which is not a bad thing. I feel like no one should tell anyone what they should do with their money. That's kind of crazy. It's their money. They worked for it. That's their money to spend. But you got that type of crowd. Then you got the other crowd who's on the fence about it. You know, maybe they don't want to spend $70 because as much as they love Sonic, dropping $70 on entertainment just may not sit right with them. And that's also a valid thing too, because you got to think about it when we try to break down $70 or $90 if you want to buy the digital deluxe edition. That's almost a month's worth of groceries. That's like a week and a half worth of gas to get you from point A to point B. That's clothes. That's going out hanging out with friends or something, or going out to a dinner with your significant other, or even bills, utility bills, expenses, unplanned expenses, emergency expenses. You got to think about the cost of these games in relevance to what's going on in the world. Because now that these games are raising the prices, now we got to have a conversation on how can we afford to stay within the hobby? Because it doesn't matter if somebody can afford to play video games consistently or not. It's just a matter of like, dude, do you feel comfortable spending that much money on a video game? Not a lot of people do. But unfortunately, this is the standard for video games going forward, and we have to face reality. That doesn't mean we need to defend it. No, we don't defend it. That's why I mentioned player urgency or financial urgency, something that you have to ask yourself these questions on where do you stand on all of this stuff? Because the conversation about this game being so expensive and Sega's losing their minds and all this stuff, that's also important. And they are losing their damn mind. They tripping. You think I'm paying $70 for a Sonic racing game? I will. But that's not because I can afford it. It's just because, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. That, or you can just wait for a sale. I mean, Sonic games go on sale. Nintendo games never go on sale. So Sonic goes on sale frequently. So if you don't think that $70 is worth the price right now, you can wait for a sale. When I say I don't mind paying $70 for a game, it's not that I'm defending $70. It's just that I'm just accepting the reality that this is the standard going forward for these bigger games. $80 is where we're going to have conversations, but $70 has been a thing for 4 years at least. I can think of a couple games that have been $70, like Star Wars. What's that? Star Wars Lost Survivor. That game is $70, or Lost Jedi, whatever it is. The new Doom game is $70. Like, some of these games are $70. Call of Duty $70, which is kind of a scam. NBA 2K is $70, which is a scam. Most of these games are either sport games, first-person shooters, or these random AAA games that just come out, like the new Assassin's Creed. That's also $70. I'm not trying to compare prices. I'm just mainly processing it for myself the same way you should. Because these, like I said earlier in this video, these companies are not your friends. They will try any way to make money off of us. As much as I praise Sega for getting Sonic to where he is now, this is still a company. These are publishers. This is not at Sonic Team. This is at Sega as the publisher. Just like how I would do the same criticism for EA, Ubisoft, or Activision. These are publishers. Publishers' job is to make as much money as possible. So then, if I see that Sonic Racing Crossworlds is $70, you got to then ask yourself, is the content within the game worth the $70? And that varies from person to person. The dollar value varies from person to person. Somebody may value the dollar different than what I do. Do I think the content in the game is worth $70? Yeah, kind of, sort of. I think 60 definitely, but if you want to raise it to 70, the game has to be really polished. The game has to be consistently polished throughout my playthrough. It has to be. Not expecting perfection, but if you're asking for 70, I expect the game to run really good consistently throughout. Price raises expectation. Price raises the expectation of a video game. It is expensive, but at the same time, it raises the standard of what we expect out of a video game. That's why you don't see a lot of companies charging $70 for the game right now, because they don't want the expectation to be there. Now, some companies don't give a damn and they just want to charge $70 to make the most money. Or Nintendo wants to raise $80 because they know that Mario games in general are usually consistently good. So they're going to sell the game for $80 because they know that the Mario fans would then say, well, it's a Mario game. It's consistently good. We'll just, $80 is $80, but at least I know the game is going to be good. I don't want to get into that specifically because there's a lot of different opinions about that. That's just kind of what the reality is. The Mario fans are not going to defend the game being $80, but casual gamers and very, very casual gamers are not going to look at that price and try to watch this video and try to dissect critical commentary on the pricing of video games. They're not going to do that. They're going to spend $80 because little Timmy wants to play Mario Kart. That's the reality of what Nintendo is selling that game for. But with Sonic Racing Crossworlds, back on topic, that game, it's a rough road to really go on if you want to charge $70 for this game. It really is. Because the expectation has to be met. And on top of that, players are going to have to then start asking questions for themselves of, hey, do I really want to spend this much money on a game? And then on top of that, if Sonic Racing Crossworlds is $70, what does that say for the next mainline Sonic game? What does that say about Sonic Frontiers 2 or whatever they call it? That game might be $80 because if this game is 70, that game is going to be 80. You're not charging. Imagine if they charged Sonic Frontiers 2 the same price as a spinoff. Bro, people would be furious. At least some people. Some people may argue that it's a Sonic game, but no, it's a spinoff. That's a AAA Sonic game with a story, a deep narrative, a replay value all across the board. The next mainline Sonic game for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years, depending on when the next one comes out. That is going to be $80. And we have to sit here and ask ourselves, are we comfortable with spending that much money? We do. We got to sit here and ask ourselves, is that how much money we want to spend on a game, a video game, a hobby? This is a hobby. This isn't a requirement. I don't need to just drop $70 on a game. I can go do another hobby. $70 for a video game is not the same as dropping $70 on a doctor visit. A doctor visit is necessary. If there's something wrong with me, I need to go to a doctor. Or if any sort of emergency expense was to pop up, I'm not going to decide on whether if I want to buy Sonic Racing Crossworlds or take care of that emergency expense. This is the conversation you got to have when it comes to video games starting to raise the prices. Because now real world implications will start to creep into your hobby. Gaming companies can't think this for you. They don't care about your personal life. They don't care about the circumstances that goes on around you. You do. This is yours. So if you're thinking that, oh my God, I can't spend $70 on Crossworlds day one, then that's okay. Because it's entertainment. It's not a requirement. It's a hobby. But I love video games and I love Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm going to sit here and ask myself this question before the release of Crossworlds. Am I okay with the next Sonic game being $80? Because they're going to price it at $80 because Nintendo opened the floodgates. They opened the doors and now we have to try to see how we can manage going through these doors. It's going to happen, unfortunately. I wish it didn't. I wish games stayed at $60, but with the way this world's moving, the way the economy is moving, and the way this gaming industry is moving, look like these things are going to be $70. I'm against it, just like everyone else, but it's the reality. I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist. I know that's corny, but I'm dead serious. I'm in reality here. I'm looking at the reality of the situation. $70 is the standard. So you have to ask yourself as a player, and I have to ask myself as a player and as a consumer, are you okay with spending $70 on a Sonic game? If you are, that's great. If you aren't, that's also great. That's understandable. It just depends on who we're talking to and how each person values their dollar. That's all it is. I don't think this conversation needs to go into toxicity. I just think that both me and the community and everyone within it has to understand that this is just a standard. It's now entered the Sonic community as $70 for a Sonic game. It's been standard for the past 4 years, but now the Sonic community is getting a taste of it and they don't like it, and neither do I. Okay, I've never liked it when they introduced it in a few other games, but here we are with Sonic, and now Sonic's entered that conversation. Again, are you comfortable paying $70 or $90 for that deluxe edition for a Sonic game? That's a lot of money to throw on the table. It's a lot of money to consider. I don't want the price to diminish the quality of the game because the game looks really good. I want to keep stressing this. This game looks amazing. I'm really excited for this game, and the price is not going to change that about me. The price is never going to change my mindset about my excitement for this game. It's just going to bring in a lot of consideration and a lot of questions I'm going to have for the future of this franchise. Like, oh, are we charging $80 for Sonic Frontiers 2? Ooh, okay. If this game is 70, what about Frontiers 2? And is that going to be justifiable for us as Sonic fans? I don't know, but for now, I think this is where we then ask ourselves. We just internalize these things for ourselves and look at our own circumstances and look at our own mindset and think, are we okay with spending $70 on a video game? So thank you for watching. Again, very unscripted, but I want to get this conversation out of my head because this is a very interesting topic that I've expected to happen, but I want to come at it from a more nuanced perspective and a more middle ground, less of a knee-jerk reaction, just kind of sink it in, take my time, and ask us as the community a question: are we okay with spending $70? But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really means the world to me. This is Breck. Thank y'all for chilling in the Breck Room, and I'll see y'all in the next video. God bless, and take care.